My name is Michael Berger, a program officer at the Avichai Foundation, and I'm very excited to bring warm wishes of Mazel Tov on the graduation of the members of PEP Cohort 15 after 2 years of intensive study in Israel. The Avichai Foundation takes great pride in this program and in what you have committed to do, to develop yourselves in terms of content, understanding the Jewish tradition, the texts, and committing yourselves to teach American Jewry for at least 3 years upon graduation. That we consider to be the future of American Jewry, and it's in your hands to develop them as much as possible. When looking for an appropriate message, of course, I wanted to look at Parshat Shavua for some inspiration, what to say to you on this momentous day. The problem is that this year there are two possibilities. You in Eretz Yisrael have been reading slightly off the schedule of American or diaspora Jewry. In Chutz La'aretz, we will be reading this coming Shabbat, Parshat Bechukotai, the end of Sefer Vayikra, and you are starting the fourth Sefer of the Chumash, of the Torah, Sefer B'Midbar. Of course, we know in Jewish tradition there's no coincidence. So the fact that your graduation is taking place on the week of these two parshiot must have some significance. So I'd like to connect the two and give you a message that combines them. Parshat Bechukotai that we're reading in Chutz La'aretz is the end of Sefer Vayikra. Sefer Vayikra is rather unique in how much it invests in talking about the Mishkan and the Korbanot and the Kohanim and what they have to do and people's relationship with the Mishkan, as well as many of the mitzvot in the second half that talk about Kadoshim to you and Eretz Yisrael and Shemitah and Yovel and other halachot. If you will, the Sefer is a sefer about the Shekhinah, living with the Shekhinah, studying the laws that enable us to understand Hashem's mind and will. B'Midbar is a very different kind of Chumash. It's a book that is about setting up the camp. The first 10 chapters set up Machaneh Yisrael. Everybody knows where she or he belongs. Everybody is in order. The Mishkan is in the center, and the Jews are arrayed around it in very clear, specified, determined locations. And yet, more than 2/3 of the book, starting with chapter 11, is about the reality of the journey to Eretz Yisrael, the reality of living with those laws. It's not the ideal sense of intimacy with the Shekhinah that we had in Sefer Vayikra, but it's the hard realities of life with people complaining, dealing with their troubles, facing challenges, admitting to failures, acknowledging the lack of courage. This is a very, very different kind of Sefer. To me, this is a very apt metaphor for your graduation from PEP. Because for the last 2 years, you've been, in essence, living with the Shekhinah. Not only are you in Eretz Yisrael, Eretz HaKodesh, but you also involved daily, for many, many hours a day, engaged in a thoughtful study with the greatest of teachers in Eretz Yisrael to study the Jewish tradition, its sacred texts, the word of the divine, and understanding what it means, developing chavruta learning how to convey texts to others. You, in essence, have been living for 2 years in Sefer Vayikra. But now you're on the cusp, on the threshold of going into the real world. You're about to go into the classroom of American Jewry in the day schools, and you're going to encounter the realities of American Jews. And I have no doubt that just like the first 10 chapters of the Midbar, you've learned how to set up the classroom, everything in its right place, ordered classroom management, everybody knows where they belong. You might have your Leviim who are chosen, you're going to have your Nisiim, so the leaders of the class, you'll be running a wonderful, ideal ship. But then, somewhere around October, November, reality is going to set in. There'll be people who are complaining about the food is not good, or the learning is not what they were expecting, or it's too hard, it's too demanding. Much like the complaining of Bnei Israel in the Midbar, you are going to encounter students who are giving sort of a taste of reality of American Jewry. Your job is to bring back the hope, the sense of ideal life of Sefer Vayikra to the Jews of the Midbar. I'm not going to talk about American Jewry as being a Midbar. Many Jews live there, and your commitment to inspire them is noble, and it's exactly what we at the Avichai Foundation have